Okay, for the fourth time, I'm gonna try to film this video. Ugh. Hi guys, it's Jill, and today I'm coming at you guys with a not so fun video, but I'm sure you're already aware of that because of the title. But before we jump into things, this will be the first video that I have this, the nose ring. It's all red because I got it done yesterday, and also I can't put makeup on it, so it's just kind of gross. Yeah, I have a nose ring now. Woo, I'm a super bad girl. Ow, my God. This video is about when Zoe got kicked. And if you follow me on Instagram, you already know about this. You've kept up with the journey, we Gucci. But I'm gonna show pictures and a little progression. On November 9th, Zoe got kicked, for those of you that don't know. So what happened was, my boss, because I live on this horse farm, right? My boss bought this mare from a kill pen and she had to be in quarantine for 30 days. She wasn't like healing properly, so she ended up being in there for like 45 days. She was like in a stall for 45 days, which like sucks. Like that's the only place she could be. She was in quarantine. So we had to let her get all the gunk out of her system, and then it finally came time to turn her out. Here's the situation. So Juno, this mare, she's a dapple gray, big draft horse, and she had 4 shoes on. When we went to turn her out, we were trying to pick a paddock that had the most like docile horses so that they wouldn't like get into a fight. Nobody would get hurt, right? And we didn't have a place to put her by herself, so we were just gonna turn her out with my mare, Zoe, and her half-sister, Rosie. Zoe and Rosie are like this. They're like best buds. We turned Juno out and she ran around, they all ran around, they were playing and whatever. Juno ended up stopping, and in the video, I'm gonna show it and you guys will see Zoe like herd Rosie off to the side. She was like, no, I'm gonna check her out first, you stay over there. Because we think Rosie, she's like slower, you'll see what I mean in the video, but she's just like a cute little love bug, but she doesn't really like get cues from other horses. Zoe like herds her off to the side, and then she walks up to Juno and she's standing right behind her, and I was like, stop, what are you doing? And Zoe had her ears like perked, she was being really nice, she was standing pretty close to her, but I don't know like what really set it off, but Juno just like threw her ears back and kicked, and she cut Zoe right across the arm and in between one of her other legs, and as Zoe was turning to get away, she double barreled her in the shoulder. I'll show you guys that video now. Whoa, very fast. Oh! Here goes the hellos. Oh, ow, ow! So that's super hard to watch. I have watched it a few times, and then when people ask me what happened, I was like, I'll just show you. But I like couldn't watch it. Like the expression on Zoe's face, like it breaks my heart, and I hate it. So we were like, okay. As soon as she got kicked, she trotted and she was limping, and I was like, oh, that must have really hurt. And then when she trotted past me, I saw white on her arm, and I was like, and so I like went and got the halter and like threw it on her and pulled her out, and it was bleeding, and I will be inserting pictures here, fair warning, now. So I pulled her out, and my boss was like, that might need sutured, and so we called our vet and sent them pictures, and they were like, yeah, we need to suture it. So they stitched it all up and gave her a bunch of antibiotics. So we closed it, all was good, right? Wrong. So the next day, when I went out and looked at it, it was really swollen up top, and I was like, whoa, that doesn't look normal. I called my vet and he was like, yeah, there's gonna be some swelling. You know, I mean, she got kicked, so when she was in her stall, like to back up, she would drag her foot. And when I would walk her out, she was like really, really lame. Over the next few days, her swelling started like spreading down her leg, and then it was spreading to like where it was this big around, like all the way down to her knee. And then the swelling continued and then was eventually encompassing her knee, and it was getting really bad. And so I had my boss give her a shot of Dex, which I don't know what that is, but everyone kept saying it, so I don't know a lot about medications. She gave her a shot of Dex, and then she seemed to not change at all. Eventually it spread all the way down her leg, and she had this like huge fat leg. The day that her leg was like swollen all the way down to her fat leg, I called my vet and I was like, look, she is stationary. I turned her out this morning and I've been away for hours at class and she has not moved. She has a circle on the ground that her hoof has twisted in because she was moving her hind end and staying like planted on her left front, and she was like picking up her right one and just like moving in a circle. And like we put hay out for her and everything, and she was just standing there. She was so depressed and so upset. And so I called my vet and I told him all of that, and he was like, you need to bring her to me. And I was like, honestly, I don't think she can get on a trailer at all. I do not want to put her through that. And he was like, okay, I'll be out there this afternoon. He was like, I'm not sure why it's so swollen. We're just gonna have to look at it. So he came out and he x-rayed her leg, and all the while telling me nice stories of other horses that have recently broken their leg and had to be put down. And I was already trying super hard to keep myself together, and then he starts telling me all these stories, and then I just like was standing there crying, and he was like, oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, oh dear. And I was like, please stop this. I'm so sad. Because I, like, seriously, all jokes aside, I thought I was gonna lose her, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I genuinely don't know what I'm gonna do if I lose this horse. And it was scarier than the colic surgery because I don't know, for some reason I just had like a gut feeling, like a lot of faith in the colic surgery. So I don't know what that was, like intuition or blind faith, I don't know. But this, it was really scary and I was losing my cool. And he x-rayed it and my heart was just pounding the whole time. I was like, I don't, like, what are they gonna find something? Is there gonna be a fracture? And I was just like fearing the worst. The x-rays were clean. He was like, well, maybe we need to unsuture it. There might be an infection. And he pulled out all the sutures and then he poked it and it went, and we would go, oh, it's an infection. I was like, my poor horse has been enduring this for over a week. Like, it makes me sick to know that like she went through that and couldn't say anything because, you know, she's a horse. But it was heartbreaking. And so he got it all out and lavaged it. I held like a little saline thing. Well, he like stuck a little tube. It looked like a little glass straw, and he like sterilized everything and then put it up in there, and I had to pump, and he was just lavaging it, and it was really disgusting. Then he came out and did that for the next few days because she was like instantly better. She was walking way better. She was good, but then the next morning she was still off. He came back out and he did it again and gave her more antibiotics. We did that for like 4 days, but my vet's like close to an hour away, and we were like, this isn't working. So he was like, I'm gonna do the 5 days and we'll see if she gets better, and if she doesn't, you're gonna have to bring her to me. And I was like, okay. Like, she was going out and she was running and she was like, she just felt so much better, and you could tell. It's Miss Fat Leg. And she said, I feel way better. Way better. Oh my goodness. That's very awkward and painful to watch, but you are so far away from the fence. Wow. Chicken. She really cannot run. Oh, Bean. So icky. It's icky gross. It's icky gross. Yuck. Hi, Susie. And then eventually, unfortunately, I got a text from the guy that like feeds all the horses that works out here, and he said Zoe's not wanting to come out of her stall, so I'm just gonna leave her in today. And I was like, oh no, this isn't good. At that point, she could handle a trailer if she absolutely had to. I was like, I really don't want to. Okay guys, so this is today. got a lot of runny. She's a lot less swollen. That is pretty yucky. She's very sore. Doesn't really want to go out. Sorry, baby. We've been giving her Banamine, and I'm probably gonna stick her in the trailer later today and take her to my vet, because hopefully she can put enough weight on it to stand in a trailer. This is hard. I called my vet and he said, you're just gonna have to bring her and we're gonna have to keep an eye on her daily. And I was like, okay. So I got her into the trailer, which is a whole nother experience all by itself. It was absolutely heartbreaking because she did not want to get in the trailer. She kept like looking at me and then looking at her leg and was like, I don't want to, because I mean, she's been in a trailer hundreds of times. She knows she has to like balance, and she didn't want to put any weight on it. And I felt like a horrible human being, and I was like, I am so sorry. I would put you in the passenger seat if I could, but you have to get in the trailer. And so I drove as slow as humanly possible all the way to the vet. I dropped her off and they were like, okay, we'll keep an eye on her. Hi, Mama. You'll be all right. We're at the vet. You gonna make it? I have carrots. You want them? All right, Bean. Be good. She was there for about 2 weeks, and my vet was calling me and giving me updates. They ultrasounded it, and they found like a little hole in there. Apparently all her muscle, like where it got kicked, it was necrotic and dying and like flushing out, so they had to keep the wound open. And also, just if you don't know, necrotic muscle dies and goes out, but muscle tissue also regenerates, so like she has muscle tissue. It didn't just die, now she has none. So then towards the end of the 2 weeks, my vet called me and he was like, we injected her with this thing called Prostride. She's doing way better. She doesn't need bute or Banamine anymore, so I think we're on the right track, and at the end of the week you can take her home. And I was like, okay. Waited and waited, and then finally I got to go get her. When I walked in, like looked at me and she was like, you're here? I thought you left me. And I was like, oh my god, my heart is breaking, but now you also have to get in the trailer again. So we took her home. That was not graceful. With all that. Now it is almost totally closed, and it's like a big bump, and it's really hard to the touch, and I think we're probably gonna have a good bit of scar tissue, which is just great. She is still lame as of today, December 13th. My vet said it's probably gonna take a few more weeks before she is back to normal. Yeah, that's where we're at. There's not really a whole lot else to say. I've been waiting a while to make this video because I wanted to like be better and like be sure, but I have a feeling that's gonna take longer. So glad, so glad that she's still alive. The other day I actually moved her from her little quarantine pasture because I didn't want her to be with anybody. Also, the pasture she was in tends to get muddy, and I didn't want her to have to walk through all that while she was super sore. We just moved her back in with Rosie, and she is so happy. Happy to be back in her field. Oh my god. Hi, are you happy? She's crazy. You should be a cutting horse. Crazy pants. Oh God. Watch out, Rosie. Wow. Juno is now by herself. She has other horses and paddocks around her, but she's alone. She's by herself now until she can find a buddy that works for her. That's my story. Doesn't have a happy ending and it sucks, but hopefully it'll get better because it's been about 5 weeks, so yay. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little update, and like now if you guys were wondering where Zoe's been, that's what's going on. So send healing vibes, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, that's about it. Okay, thank you guys. Goodbye.